there's so many of us need to be drawn forward into the future. And that leads to one more element of the kind of prayer Jesus was talking about. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all comprehension, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Now, I understand looking back and seeing all the things God has done in the past. I understand that. And thanking him for that. I understand that. But I believe the kind of thanksgiving that the Apostle Paul, in the context of the whole of Scripture, is talking about, doesn't look backwards so much as it looks forward into what God has already established in the future. Now follow me with this. I know from experience that I can be looking backward and thanking him for what I've seen him do in the past without ever drawing from his promised future. Nod your heads up and down and tell me you're following me with this. And I can be depressed about that. I can remember what he did in the past, but I'm looking at a future because no matter how many times, what I think about the future, because no matter how many times he's rescued me from all kinds of impossible situations, and I can match almost anybody's story, times when I could not see the road ahead, times when I couldn't imagine how God could possibly get me out of it this time, I can fall into discouragement, fear, and depression. And I've done it, and so have you. I think what the apostle was writing about when he said, in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. I think it ties into what Jesus taught about believing that you've already received. What I'm about to say is a remedy for discouragement, and it's a remedy for depression. See, I want to pray in harmony with the will of God. I want to pray in harmony with his heart. I want to be thanking him for the reality of his answer as if I've received it before I've received it, because he's already granted it. I want to be thanking God. You pray with a heart of thanksgiving. I want to be thanking God for the solution as if the solution were already present, rather than asking for it to come because we don't see it yet. This is a shift, isn't it? Y'all, gosh, y'all look like deer in the headlights today. It's like, I'm telling you, this is a mentality shift. This is moving away from the brain damage that Adam and Eve gave us and moving into a kingdom mentality, people. I'm serious. Thanking God, yeah, for the past, that's true. I want to remember what he did. But entering his presence, filing my requests with thanksgiving for the solution it's already established and I've already received it because it's on his timeline. If God said it and promised it, it's done. If God said it and promised it, it's certain. It will come to pass. The promised land belonged to Israel before they ever left Egypt. They already owned it. They weren't living there, but they already owned it. The first generation out of Egypt failed to take it. It wasn't as if it wasn't already theirs. It would have been theirs if they'd stepped forward in faith to conquer it, because it was already theirs. The problem was they failed to move on what they'd already been given. And so the nation had to wait a generation to actually possess what God had already given. See, thanking God as if the requests were already given feeds the kind of hope that tethers you to the future and draws you forward into it. And the name of that dynamic is victory.